Breaking tonight, a conservative author in the crosshairs of Robert Mueller's Russia probe, now firing off a complaint against the Justice Department. Jerome Corsi alleges prosecutors tried to bully him into giving false testimony against President Trump and others. According to the complaint, Mueller's team wanted Corsi to admit that he lied to them about efforts to learn about WikiLeaks' plans to release thousands of stolen emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign up to 2 months before the documents were actually dumped. Joining me right now here on set is none other than Jerome Corsi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Trish.
Well, you've been through a lot.
It's been a tremendously horrible experience for me and my family. I have to admire my wife. She stood by me and the family. Is Grandpa going to be arrested and in prison for Christmas?
Wow. I mean, that's the seriousness of this. Walk me through, you've got a really amazing story of what has happened to you in all of this. Walk me through the moment sort of you first went on the Fed's radar and subsequently what the questioning was like and why all of this has brought you to now file this complaint.
Well, Trish, there was 2 FBI agents who came to the door on August 28th, knocked on the door, unannounced with a subpoena. I came in with my attorneys. We really wanted to cooperate. I brought in my laptops, my Apple time machine. I turned over the emails, all my passwords, all the usernames. I helped the FBI download my Twitter and my Google accounts for the double verification. And I went in to cooperate. But the questioning started almost from day one with this attempt to make it a memory quiz. And first day, I forgot 2 emails, and suddenly they're threatening to send me to federal prison for the rest of my life.
Were those emails significant emails in that they
they were important, but, you know, one of them was an email I passed on from Roger Stone to Ted Malloch saying, go to see Assange. I'd forgotten about it. So I initially said, well, I didn't want anybody to go see Assange. And when I saw that email, you know, the special prosecutor said, go home, review your emails.
And by the way, you turned over those emails.
Oh, yes, and I came back and amended the testimony. And said I was wrong. Now, that happened over and over again because I would be asked questions about things I couldn't remember that they had in this 8-inch binder with my name on it.
And so then they said, well, you lied. You
lied. Well, I didn't lie. It's, you know, a matter of, this is what they wanted me in one count to plead guilty to, that I knowingly and willfully, with an, you know, presented false information with an intent to deceive the special prosecutor. That never happened. In fact, I didn't want the plea deal. I was offered the plea deal to get me off the media. I was at the door of NBC ready to go into the studio. My lawyer called and said, Zelensky and the other prosecutors will give you a plea deal if you don't go on the media.
And?
Well, they offered the plea deal and it was fraudulent because the one count was the mistake I made on the first day, not the amended testimony that they ultimately allowed me to give. And I'm not going to go before God and his federal judge and plead that I knowingly, willfully gave them false information to deceive them when I know in my heart I did not.
A lot of people have.
Well, that's up to them. I mean,
right. I mean, Michael Flynn, Michael Cohen. You know, a lot of people have gotten sort of caught, and one of the things that they've managed to get people on sometimes has nothing to do with the whole idea of collusion, right? They were supposed to somehow prove that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians. They don't have that, but they're getting people on these kind of technicalities. For example, you forgetting something, and even though you amended your testimony, they're saying, not too late, you lied. Well,
that's ridiculous. And, you know, that's a game that is nonsense to play. And I told them over and over again, I'm here to help you. Let's look at things. They said, oh, we don't want you to reconstruct. I mean, it was a nightmare.
You had your theory on it. Were they interested in hearing anything you had to say?
No, I wanted to explain to them how the DNC computers worked, how, you know, I can prove, I believe solidly the Russians did not steal the emails from the DNC. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to hear about Huma Abedin or Hillary Clinton. They just want to know how I connected to Assange, and they wouldn't believe.
Well, how did you?
Well, I didn't. I've never met Julian Assange. I've never contacted him. I have no one intermediary who put me to them. But the special prosecutor refused to believe that I actually just figured out in July and August that Assange had Podesta's emails. And
how did you figure that out?
Well, I knew that I had a source that knew the Democratic servers very well. On July 22nd, 2016, and the big dump of emails from the DNC server against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Podesta's were missing. And I knew that server had Podesta's emails on it. Whoever got into that server also saw Podesta's emails. That had to be what Assange had in reserve. And I figured that out. It was speculation. Mm-hmm. And the special prosecutor said, you couldn't have done that on your own. And I said, well, I did. It's ridiculous.
Hey, you know, I'm smarter than I look, guys, right? I mean,
well,
you know, they're saying you couldn't possibly. But as we piece together this logic.
Right.
It's a logical conclusion, right? I mean,
yes.
And you and I have talked about this. You went through it. Okay, so they had all these emails, right? But he wasn't there, so that made you think.
Well, it made me think basically that, you know, the special prosecutors were not interested in my testimony. They had a preset narrative, and if I gave them what they wanted, they were all happy. But when I couldn't, because I don't know Assange, and I can't connect Roger Stone to Assange, suddenly they blew it all up. Suddenly, I'm going to prison for the rest of my life.
Did they actually threaten that?
Oh, certainly. I mean, they could walk in the set right now and arrest me. And if they do, by the way, if I get indicted, I'm not interested in a plea deal. I'll fight this. I'll fight this to my death, because this is not justice. This is not America. I went in to cooperate. I told them the truth. I'm 72 years old. I've never committed a crime. And now somehow, however, I'm looking at prison for the rest of my life. It's ridiculous. My crime is that I supported Donald Trump. And I did my best to help get Donald Trump elected. And now I'm a criminal for having done that. It's a political prosecution, and I filed a complaint with the Department of Justice against Mueller and his entire group of henchmen, because ultimately they objected to my writings. They don't like what I write. They don't like me in terms of my political views. And now, in fact, they're saying, well, you lied to us. Well, the law is intentionally and willfully gave them information I knew to be false with an intent to deceive them. I did not do that, and I will not swear in a court of law that I did.
Wow. I mean, this is scary stuff for Americans, right? I mean,
it should be.
This is our, you know, it's so disappointing to think that, you know, they've got their answer that they want to solve for, and they don't, I guess they don't really care who's in the way. I mean,
well, I'm dispensable to them. I mean, I'm just, they want to run over me with a truck.
Did they meet their match, though?
Well, look, Trish, I'm a weird duck. I came out of Harvard, and I'm saying, you know, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I'm not going to swear before a federal judge a lie, which is what they're requiring, that I lie in order to save my hide from going to prison. I won't do that. They required a deal that I had to be quiet for a year. I was going to swear to a federal judge that I committed this felony, which I did not do. I had to wait for a year to be sentenced. In that time, they were not going to allow me to report to my regulatory agencies. Jeannie Rhee said, you can't tell FINRA, the securities agency, you can't tell the insurance agencies that you're a felon, because it's not known. We're going to seal that. I'm saying, wait a minute. You just told me to violate a law. You told me the special prosecutor, to get this plea deal, demanded I lie and violate a law. They're the criminals.
This is absolutely wild. Well, good luck to you, Jerome. You've got a book coming out, an e-book?
Yes, and we're going to do this as an e-book right away. It's called Silent No More, and it's written day by day. We'll do e-books so you can get it immediately. It'll be out later this week. It's day by day what this horror show felt like for me to go through. I wrote it first person. You're sitting right there next to me. It reads like a horror story.
Yeah, scary stuff. Well, stay brave.
Thank you.